This month's chapter of Attack on Titan, chapter 86. Like, shit, man. Like, wow. We learned so much in this chapter about what happens and everything. I could guess the quick rundown of this will be like, it shows more of a backstory of Eren's father. In his childhood, Eren's father, Grishida, I think that's how he's pronounced his name. I could be butchering it, but I don't know. You guys can correct me in the comment section below. And his younger sister, Faye. Attack on Titan universe, or from what we seen last month's chapter, is way more advanced than we initially thought. They got cameras and photograph and everything there. And from this chapter, we see that they're even more advanced than we initially thought. From what we see in the images on in the panels, there's blimps, steamboats, even some planes flying overhead in the background. The culture in Attack on Titan is no longer medieval, but push a few hundred years into the steam-powered era, like in the 1800s in our time period, so maybe like a good 400 years or 500 it got bumped up in. Both Eren's father and his younger sister were both confined, so for some reason really wasn't clear, but they were eventually discovered by soldiers. His younger sister was eventually taken away and killed. Eren's dad, Grishida, was 18 or so when he eventually found out his sister was killed and eaten. On that fact, since she was eaten, maybe his sister is still alive to some extent. Cause remember, I forgot his name. His name slips my mind at the moment, but didn't one of the Server Coast member, the extremely short one, and he's got a buzz cut. Didn't his mother get eaten by a Titan and she eventually became a Titan? Granted, she can move about when she's stuck in one spot, but she became a Titan. So maybe his sister could be, but who really knows, honestly. Another thing will be that the fact that, from what we've quote-unquote thought in the beginning of the series, that humanity was on the brink of extinction, which was not really the case. And years ago, like many years ago, even a few centuries, even millennia ago, there was a big war between the Titans and the humans. Basically, the humans against the Shifters, which was basically Yumir's people, who wield this Titan power. And obviously, they emerged victorious in the war. It seems something, and this part kind of reminds me of Naruto a bit. Forgive me if I say Naruto, but this part about the fact that it's kind of unclear for me when I read through it, but it showed the fact that there's someone called Iliada that, in order to revive the ancient or original Titan, quote unquote, to defeat Mali, which we're trying my best to remember, but maybe she's a new character or he's a new character. Eren's father married a woman called Donna, who eventually had Zeke, which is obvious everyone by now is Eren's quote unquote half brother. But he really isn't that loyal. Eventually, in his younger years, when he was a child, say like around 6 or 7 or so, he went to the government and exposed his father and his mother for something unclear really, of maybe a conspiracy of trying to overthrow the government again. So maybe they got, which would result maybe in an execution or exile. So I guess that's why Eren's father eventually came to the walls all those years ago, before when he met Eren's mother, and eventually had Eren and everything, and the series progressed. And that sort of explains why Eren's father was a roamer or a traveler and eventually got to the walls. But we don't really know what happened to his former wife, quote unquote Donna. Maybe she got killed, or maybe she's in prison. Who knows? I think we'll find out eventually. I think we'll find out eventually. I think we really would, from the way it's looking right now. Iliada was eventually sent to an island called Balidi. I think that's how I pronounce it. That's I think they pronounce it right here, which is the base of most of the Titans, or all the Titans, apparently, from what I'm reading right here. It really, the Attack on Titan story is expanding a lot. Like, for instance, we found out the original family, or the original family called the Fias, I can't really pronounce these things, was the original Titan, and the bloodline between either 7 or 8 of them, I think it's 7. I think that's how you say that word for 7 in Japanese, I think, anyway. Made up the different bloodlines within the series, and also for instance, the Jaeger, Artman, Rise. Yeah, those many bloodlines. So far, when I checked on the wiki, if it's 7 or so, or maybe 9, depends how it looked like, there's a few houses we haven't seen yet. So maybe it'll come later on, or near the end of the series, or in the climax, to see, to keep everything in control and order. So Mikasa's family, not Levi, because Levi took the name from someone who I forgot, but Levi took the name of Artman from someone he really respected or believed to be family, basically. But Mikasa is more or less a pure Artman, and basically Ymir being the royalty or some form of queen, from what people are saying on here. So maybe, I don't know, maybe since kinda, sorta, Ymir and Historia is canon, so maybe, I don't know, at one point I believe the author confirmed that Yumir and Historia was canon at a certain point in the story. So, bullshit reasoning right here. Maybe at some point, to bring the war to an end, Ymir and Historia will come together and end the war. I don't know, maybe. That's off the top of my head. Let's ignore it, really. Either way, it's looking pretty. And like maybe I said this before, but maybe the fact that if Yumir was really some form of royalty, maybe the fact that she was roaming the walls, she stated she roamed the walls for many years, and her memory is pretty hazy for what she did for most of those years while she was in a Titan form. So maybe she forgot her role maybe she forgot her role or status from where the Titans originated from, because she was revealed to be respected and like worshipped by the Titans. Like in the OVA or a bonus chapter in the manga, it showed that a Titan revered Ymir as a god. But wow, there's a lot of things that really doesn't really connect for me yet in this, but these are just my raw thoughts on what I read and what I've seen so far, and I saw people's responses to this. It really is crazy, honestly. I can't. That mean Eren really is the worst person to get this Titan ability of, to manipulate the Titans, because his father was part of the opposition to fight against the Titans. So yeah, he's really that's why the Armor Titan and the Colossal Titan said he's the worst one. And given Eren's mindset of what to do with Titans, he really doesn't. You really want to eradicate all of them. And lastly, before I leave, this is a long video so far. From what I saw, the war initially started from before the walls were even made, which were between two different societies, the Mir and the Irida. The Fize family was apparently the one that the Titans really originated from or came from, but were discriminated against because, the people of Irida millennia ago didn't really want to like live beside beings such as Titans. They feared their power. When the last king of the Fize family died, the people of Irida took this opportunity to use his power to bring about a new society. Since these people kind of abused the power, since we kind of saw like how they try to wipe memories and try to suppress the previous history, they didn't really like the other races and view them as inferior. At some point, war broke out between these two fractions, and most of the Titan power ended up with the members of the Irida, which we saw how they kind of control the people within the walls. The war lasted for a few decades, and most people died as a result of war and land destroyed. The king of these people that abused the power, though, eventually make up the world we know in Attack on Titan beyond the walls, where the king built this quote-unquote paradise, where the rest of the people of the opposing faction were left behind. Basically Eren's father and friend. So that's basically what I saw in the chapter. This is a really long chapter, honestly. And my thoughts on this is crazy. Like, Zeke betrayed his family, maybe to gain some form of status or safety from the government, resulting in his father run away to eventually make a family to bring about Eren and the entire story into the mix. And I feel this stuff too. It's just so wow. I just can't really think about it that way. I just really can't. Either way, this is my raw thoughts on what happened in this month's chapter of Attack on Titan, and what information I got, which I'm still kind of processing right now. I really want to hear what you guys thought of this chapter in the comment section below. It really was more, I guess, content packed. I want to hear what you guys thought of this, honestly, so I can get a different perspective on this. Either way, this is Cryptic signing out. Bye, guys.